What's up, everybody? Jay Guy. I know it's been a while since I've done a video about my car or anything like that. It's been a while. I'll say about like almost 2 years probably. So I'm still here messing with my car, of course, but my garage has changed. I don't know if you guys can tell the difference. Well, you should be able to tell the difference in the video. I don't have a full rundown, but I do have a before and after that I might just go ahead and throw in there of what it looked like. So I had to like take things out, repaint, of course, make it more comfortable just for me. But I know it's been a while and you guys might be curious as to what's going on with my car, what's taking so long, things like that. So I had an issue with the car that I couldn't figure out. I don't know what was going on with it or why it was doing what it was doing. So long story short, what was going on was as soon as I pressed the gas, the car would die, right? And I noticed these symptoms as I was driving. And that's why I was like, okay, I need to park this car to figure out what's going on with it. So I did all these tests within this time. Well, actually, I took some time off from my car. I let it sit in the garage for a while, collect dust, you know, before I decided to work on it every other weekend or every other month. Time did go on when I didn't touch it at all. So some things I've done was I back probed all the wires, make sure that continuity, I checked voltage, I checked the throttle position sensor, also known as TPS, to make sure it's calibrated right. I changed TPS sensors to another OEM one, make sure it was right. I changed map sensors out to the OEM one, problem still didn't go away. I checked a whole lot of stuff, spark plugs, all that. The one thing I didn't want to do was spend money and start buying stuff, because throwing money at a problem doesn't really solve it, you know? So hold on, turn it down a little bit. Alright. I want to seem like I'm screaming. So one thing you don't want to do is to continue throwing money at a project or at anything, because throwing money at it doesn't really solve the problem unless you know what the problem is. So the last thing I started to do is actually I had bought injectors. My injectors are 1000cc precision injectors. They run about 380-ish. Try to remember exactly how much I spent for them. So let's see, I spent $380 on new injectors just to replace the ones I've had. Because the ones I've had before, they were used. So I figured that, hey, maybe they're going out, which is kind of weird. The injectors don't really like go out, I guess. Well, they can, but it just didn't seem right. Like I wasn't getting a code for bad injector failure. Bought new injectors, did that. That didn't solve the problem. I tried looking at the ECU. I noticed that there was a burn spot where the circuit used to be. It was like pretty much disintegrated. So I bought a new ECU, right? A virgin ECU, untouched. I had to send my ECU back with the new one to Honda so they could desocket my Honda S300 and put it in a new one, you know. So I had to pay for all that. Got that in, swapped it in. Problem still didn't get resolved. So getting kind of frustrated at this point because, you know, I spent all this money trying to figure out what it is, orders, parts, gaskets, try to figure it out. Just not sure what it is. The last thing I want to do is pay somebody, you know, to fix my problem, because I'm just more of a do-it-yourself type of person, you know. And I had to bite the bullet. I took a day off from work, got my car towed to a shop in town. I had the guy over there take a look at it. Within like the first 5 minutes I had it over there. It's one thing I wasn't looking forward to happening, was that the guy that was working on my car, he got in my engine bay, started fiddling around with some stuff, because we were pushing the car into the shop, just going up a driveway. And this car weighs about 2,600 pounds, and that's roughly kind of heavy to push uphill. So he gets in the engine bay, starts fiddling around with some sockets of some connections. He says, "Hey, fire the car up." So I fire it up, and it kind of died, because he probably went there. He probably went into the engine bay to ensure the connections were made, you know, just to double check. So he went back and he disconnected something. I'll tell you in a second. Disconnected it, started the car revved up, right? And I was able to move it under its own power into the shop. So I was kind of like shocked. I was like, what the hell, man? It's like, bro, I haven't driven this far, these 5 feet, in my car, and shoot, I don't know when. You know, it's the most I've driven it under its own power. And so, what'd you do? So I disconnected the TPS from the throttle body, the actual connection. So, hey, cool, man. Well, that doesn't solve the problem because you kind of need that. You know what I mean? The car needs that to run, but it's kind of like bypassed it, I guess, temporarily to get it in, so it was able to move. So later on, he worked on it, and I'm paraphrasing of what he told me what the problem was. So he went ahead and pretty much told me the calibration was off in my car, like that calibration for the throttle body, like almost in the tune, which is kind of weird because it doesn't make any sense. Maybe I gotta call him and get a better clarification, because when I picked my car up, I was more excited to get the car, and he was telling me what was wrong with it. It kind of like this vibe just threw it out of my head. I didn't really pay attention, I guess. So I need to figure out like what exactly went wrong, because I need to know these things just in case it happens again, and I need to do it. I need to figure it out, I guess, right? So here we are today. I plan on getting my car retuned. Not from my original tuner, only because he's real busy right now. He's trying to, actually he told me he's lessening his car load, unfortunately for me. He's been in the business for, I think, almost 20 years. And not to mention, he told me that he's lessening the cars he works on, and he's more or less focusing on production. So I was like, okay, that's cool. I can't force him to do something that he really is not set up to do right now. So the tuner I'm going to see right now, and I'll probably put some screenshots of how he wants to go about tuning a vehicle, and it's nothing against him at all. I understand why he does this, but it's kind of like, man, it's kind of aggressive, for those that aren't familiar with how to do these things. I know how to do everything he's asking. I know how to do all these things. It's not a big deal to me. Well, it takes time, but it's not a big deal. Compression test, valve lash, make sure it's within spec. Compression, make sure the compression the motor is good, make sure that it's healthy. These two things take time to do. That and a leak down. These three things take, like, I would say, if you have to make adjustments while you're doing it, it takes almost an hour. Yeah, an hour doesn't sound long, but if you know what you're doing, it'll take longer than that. Me, I have the tools and I know how to do these things, so for me, it doesn't take that long. But still, you still got to do it. It takes a little bit of time. You know what I mean? Not everybody has a leak down tester, and this is what it looks like. Let me grab mine right quick. So this is what a leak down test cylinder leakage tester looks like. I got this off eBay for like, I don't know how much exactly. I think it was over $100, but this is pretty much what you're looking at right here. This is pretty much, I guess you could say, a basic leak down tester. This valve right here has two purposes. Two purposes though, but how to operate it is that your compressor goes into this side and you adjust how much pressure is coming out of it. And this side right here goes into the cylinder. I know I'm kind of like paraphrasing it, but that's pretty much how does it go? There's a hose in the inside too. So hold on, probably best if I take the hose out, right? I can simulate it better that way. So this end is from the compressor, and this other end right here goes to the cylinder. So basically what you're doing is you're adding air pressure to the cylinder to detect to see if there's a leak there. So not everybody knows how to do all that. Not everybody has a compressor either. So the reason why I think that tuner wants all that stuff done is because you don't want to get blamed for something happening on the dyno. That's something that he didn't do wrong, something that was mechanically wrong with the motor before he worked on it. So the timing on my car is good, leak down, all that's good. The timing, I'll have him look at it one more time when he works on it. Typically most tuners do that anyways. So like I said, those three things are kind of important to people that don't really know how to do, and it's kind of intimidating, I guess. Doing a leak down test, compression test, and also doing a valve lash adjustment, or just check to see if it's right. So not a lot of people know how to do these things, but they're important. So he has like 4 pages of list with disclaimers in it too, but it's like quite a bit of things that you got to know how to do and get done, and he wants to fill it out before arrival, because the more time he's taking to pinpoint an issue, you're paying for it, and not to mention he has people lined up after you. So the less time less time it takes him to do stuff, the better off you'll be. You know what I mean? So hopefully I'm trying to get that done soon. The tune, that is, because I have everything else done. I just got to fill out paperwork, and I put deposit down on my spot. So hopefully I'll have the car tuned pretty soon. We'll have more videos being pumped out. That's the plan, at least I have going on. Because once the car gets tuned, that's when we're doing some other things to it. I'm gonna change the front end on it. I'm changing the intercooler, also a fuel pump. I'm gonna get a bigger fuel pump, bigger fuel intercooler, because I want to do more power. I want to tune the car on race gas and eventually try to hit. My goal is 650 or 600 plus. That's my goal on race gas, to see if I can hit that with this vehicle. And more or less, I'm done with it, the motor-wise. But there's other things I got to do still. Like I got to change all the bushings out. I'll do a video on that, how to do it, and the process of doing it, and why you should do it, especially with a car like this old. The front end, I'll have a whole vlog on that, or blog on that. It being changed over and things like that. Why I'm doing it primarily the reason why I'm doing it is for airflow to go to the radiator, also for aesthetics. But that's the main thing, is for mechanical, because I want more air going to the radiator, because this bumper is closed off, and you'll see the front end I'm gonna do later on at a later date. Also, I'm gonna work on my IS300. I'm planning to do an engine swap for that. I'm gonna throw a 1JZ in there. That's coming later on. That's gonna be an extensive video, part video. I'm looking forward to doing it, but I don't look forward to paying for it, but I want it though. I want the motor in that car, so that's something I'm gonna have to do. So, with that being said, and without rambling on, I'll end the video here. Just stay tuned. Sorry for the delay. Sorry for the long delay. And hopefully I'll pump out more videos more often. So, with that being said, I'm out.